You know, this world, well, to me, has a very interesting sense of morality. What do I mean by this? When I'm looking at certain conversations people are having, or when judgment is being placed on someone, it's always like it's always like to me it's like this. This is how like a lot of people in the world see things. Let's say you have two killers and they're both trying to they're having a conversation. And one killer is like, well, I'm better than you because I only killed 500 people and you killed 200. Like, and I feel like it just stops right there. Like, instead, okay, like for instance, I was watching a podcast. Let me just put this all the way into full perspective. I was watching a podcast where um it was some former gangsters talking about uh Michael Jackson was a psycho and all the stuff he was doing. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, what's it like? Okay, yes, he was doing that, but like, he was fucking up your community. Like they're both taboo. So like, who's to judge anybody? Like, and I'm not saying like certain things aren't wrong. Like, I'm not saying certain things shouldn't be, aren't. I won't even say sins, but I wouldn't say certain things are like. uh I'm not saying things aren't bad, but what I am saying is like, I feel like we should get past pointing the finger and more to understanding, more into like, and not understanding in a way where when I say understanding, I'm not talking about okaying, like being like, okay, that person did some wrong stuff and we're going to continue to let them do wrong things because we understand what they went through. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, look at the ingredients that made that outcome, that made that situation. Like, let's look at the backstory. Let's start putting some critical thinking into how we're judging one another. You know what I'm saying? Because if I know that the person who just did all these terrible things as a child or in their background, or they come from a family that does terrible things, then it's just like, well, duh. Like, it's plain, like, it's obvious that that person is going to, you know what I'm saying, act like that. Instead of just, it's like we just stop at the action and then we don't go no further. Like, we don't, like, okay, I remember I was watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix, and I think it was like the last couple episodes, his father was like, he had the same type of thoughts that Jeffrey Dahmer did. Like, he was having the same type of just mindset. He just was able to, be human and act like, put a mask on and just know not, had enough self, what do they call it? Like when you can restrict yourself from certain actions and like crashing out or just doing like wild shit. Like, he was able to just hold that in and channel it in a different way. But he even said it. He was like, I used to have the same type of thoughts my son did. So it's like, to me, it's like we need to really dive deep into like, okay, like this, right? If somebody cooks for me, right? They cook it for me and then I'm eating the dish. Okay, well, I'm eating the food and it's like, damn, this shit is bad. So I could just stop at like, this meal was horrible, this meal was bad, throw this shit away and keep it pushing. Or I could like, okay, no, not cooking for someone. Let's say I'm cooking for myself and I eat the food and I'm like, damn, this shit is like, this shit did not taste like how I thought it was gonna taste. So then what I would do is, instead of just throwing the whole meal, or you can throw the whole meal away because it's bad, but you don't just stop there. You don't just throw the whole meal away and just say, fuck it, fuck cooking. I'm never gonna cook again. Like, no, okay, let's go back into the ingredients. Let's look, okay, I added too much salt. Okay, I added too much water. Okay, I added too much, I was about to say baking soda. I added too much butter over here. Like, that's what to me should be the forefront. Like, put that example when it comes to people. Like, we're looking at the finalized action of this person, but we're not going back to do the history of why that outcome came to be. And I feel like you can't fully judge someone unless you look at the history of that person. Like, you can't really fully judge anybody unless you see where they came from or like the journey that they've been on. If not, then it's kind of just like that's like you're to me it's like you're judging them from a 90-degree angle instead of a 360. The 90-degree angle would be, okay, I'm just understanding them from this moment and nothing else. You see what I'm saying? Instead of, okay, let me look at the history. Oh, okay, I see why they base their actions. Okay, now it's a little bit more like, I remember a famous quote. I think it came from the show Legion. I don't know if it's a famous quote, but it's from the show Legion. It was like, it gets hard to, something like, basically summarize it all. People was like, it's hard to hate your enemy when you understand them. Like, it's hard to hate someone when you understand why they act in a certain manner. Like, a person, you might get a guy or a female or something, she's very like aggressive a lot of times or something. And you might just be like, man, this woman is aggressive. Like, this dude aggressive. We don't know why. Like, why this nigga so like, and then you find out like this nigga used to get the shit beat out of him every day as a kid. You see what I'm saying? Like, now it's like, oh, now and like, it's funny because even when we know these certain things, like, anytime you might get into some more information on a person, like, oh damn, I was too quick to judge. Like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. Like, the kid in school who's going through traumatic stuff, you wondering why he the bully or just all this stuff, do you realize like, oh shit, this motherfucker is going through like hella shit at the crib. You know what I mean? Like, so now it's like, okay, now I see the totality, and I feel like that's what we should go forward on when it just comes with just like humanity, judging people, how we like treat people. It should be more some like, I want to look at the totality of a person instead of just like I'm looking at them for who they are right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that is a mindset you should have. Like, I feel like the proper way of that mindset would be, okay, even though this person did go through all these things, I do understand it, but I still have to be present in my own life and see how their actions affect me. So even though I do understand your background and all the things that happen to you, I still have to be conscious of how your actions are affecting me in my life. So that's why I said I'm never excusing behavior, negative behavior. But I do feel like it is very important to understand it, because that's how that person gets healing. I don't get any healing from being shunned or just being looked at in a way where it's just like you're only judging me from the negative aspects of me. No, I am healed through understanding. I feel like everyone is healed through understanding. And that's not saying, not hold somebody responsible for their actions. That's just saying, okay, I'm looking at how you're moving in life, and I'm here for you, and I got love for you, but this is my path, and this is what I'm going on. If I'm going to a more peaceful serenity path, and I got somebody around me who's been through a lot of shit, but I understand why they're acting a certain way, I can still have love for that person, but I can still choose to separate from that person. And I feel like it can be done in a more healthy manner, instead of just like, oh, you're bad, cut off. Or like, oh, you're toxic, cut off. Like, we're not really healing. Like, and I understand, I get why people are like that, because if you're just thinking from a very single-minded point of view of just like myself, my life, da 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 da, it's like, nah, like, that same toxic person has to go meet another person. And those people are gonna, and if they come together, they now create a family, and now that family affects you. You don't know who the fuck this person gonna grow up to be. This motherfucker grow up to be the president of the United States. This person, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we don't always see the domino effects, and it's very easy to do that in the human experience. It's very easy to be like, me, myself, and I gotta worry about me, and that's it. Fuck everybody else. Like, that is very, like, I understand it. I understand that perspective. But to me, it's like, if I know I have to deal with if I know I have to be in a world where I'm dealing with other people, and then too, it's like, nigga, all types of just variables. Like, even if you don't believe in reincarnation, it's like, okay, you believe in, having a family in the next generations and the next generations. So it's like, why wouldn't you want your next generation to be in a more healed, like the way the next generation they handle things, it's a more healed just way of going about life, instead of just like, shut you down, cut you off, ghost you, you know, put you to the side. It's more acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? Like that way, like, because I feel like a lot of times, even when we deal, like what we're dealing with in life, when we are dealing with other people, it's really on some shit where it's like, okay, I go out, I leave the crib, I go out, and I'm just, going about my day. And I go to the grocery store, and the person who's the cashier for me, like, they're very rude. The way they, carry themselves, they're just very rude. But we don't understand that, like, that rudeness is rooted in somewhere. Like, they might have had it's a background. That's what I'm saying. Like, the way someone's behavior and personality, there's a story to it. And what I'm saying is, like, if we can, like, understand more that, like, when we meet people, it's always a story to them. And look, it might just be for me. Everybody else might do this. I might be just now catching on. But, like, if we can more admit that there's a story to people before we come across them, I feel like it would be a better understanding of just life. Like, instead of it just being like, oh, that person was rude, fuck that person, getting into fights with people, all this hostility that we just have for one another, just going about the day, beating people, this happens, that happens, it's really rooted in just trauma from your past. And now it's just acting out in the present. So if we could really just be on some more, like, we're healing each other when we meet each other. Not just like, I'm not saying you got to be some sappy ass love is light person. I'm just saying, like, patience. And I'm learning that myself, because I'm quick to turn up on a motherfucker the instance I sense disrespect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm even learning in life, it's like, how would I like to be treated if I was having a bad day today? You see what I'm saying? Like, even though I am coming across, like, I remember, never forget this. I remember I was doing DoorDash. I was just having a real rough day that day. I was just going through a lot. Matter of fact, I think I was homeless at that time, now that I think about it. And I remember I came in, and a lady just came. She was like, I had a DoorDash at Burger King, and I picked up whoever's food, and I was kind of like tense and kind of angry. Like, you could just tell, like, oh yeah, that person ain't to be fucked with. And the lady, just like the manager, just gave me a hug. And, like, that's all I needed at that time. Like, you know how much that changed my day? Like, just my mindset. Like, that shit really, like, is so instead of her being like, oh, fuck that dude, he's coming in like he don't want to be bothered, I'm gonna show him the same energy. She understood, like, oh, he probably going through something. So that allowed me to heal. That allowed me to, you know what I'm saying, like, go about my day in a way where it's more like, oh shit, like, that's how I'm coming across. Wait, let me come correct. Like, yes, I'm dealing with my own stuff, but my problems are my own, so let me not put that on other people. So, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, we're here to, like, wake each other up. And I don't know woke shit, but just on some, like, hey bro, you need a hand? Like, hey, like, just simple shit. A little, hey, good morning, hold the door open. Like, you never know the little things that you do that, like, wake somebody up out of their depression, or just wake somebody up from, like, their negative ass way of thinking. So, and like I said, it's a process for me too. So I'm not sitting here saying all these things like I done perfected ways of living, and like, it's a process for me too. Because like I was saying, anybody who know me, I can be very, like, snappy, but I'm getting older. I'm learning. I'm experiencing. I'm growing. So we here, but let's try to add some more experience, experience, understanding in this world. There's in the Kabbalah, in the Jewish religion, there's the tree of life, and there's Sephiroth to the tree of life. And one of the Sephiroths of the three main, the three main ones are Banah. I think it's, I'm not even going to go there, but one of them is Banah, which is understanding. And I feel like we need a lot of understanding in this world. We need a lot of understanding. They say when God animates, it's through Ein Sof and then these three other Sephiroths, and then they all filter down. But I'm not even about to go to the Jewish Kabbalah. I was just using that as a reference point to just say, even in the high, like, if you're a Christian or religious, even in the highest aspects of God, there's understanding. It's not always just fire and brimstone and I'm judging this person and I'm judging that person and I'm judging this person. Let's just have some peace. We all come from different backgrounds. And then we damn sure not in a world where y'all motherfuckers love to share secrets or relate to each other. Y'all like to stun on each other, but a lot of motherfuckers don't like to relate to each other. Like you'll get a person who was in the hood and like they was robbing, stealing, killing, cheating, not taking care of they like just doing a whole bunch of shit, but then they'll go and look at a person like Jeffrey Dahmer and be like, oh, he's worse than me though. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like any actions are excused. I'm just saying like if we keep going on that mindset, nothing will be like nothing. Look at the dragonfly. Like nothing is going to be done. Like we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to be stuck in the blame game. And now your child is going to have to deal with my child's trauma and anger because nothing is getting resolved. It's just going to be a constant flow of people not understanding each other and now putting the blame on each other for stuff. So that's it, man. Y'all be easy. Peace.